You've felt it 1,000 times. That moment your dog leans their weight against your leg or stares at you with those puppy eyes that seem to melt your heart. We call it love. But have you ever wondered if there's something else going on? Something deeper? Behavioral science has just uncovered a hidden motive behind your dog's affection. And the truth is, your dog doesn't just want your love. They are biologically programmed to exploit it for their own survival. For years, skeptics have laughed and said, he only loves you because you have the treats. It's the ultimate insult to any dog owner. But what if I told you the skeptics are half right, but for the wrong reasons? It's not about the food in your hand, it's about the chemistry in your brain. Your dog has spent 15,000 years evolving into the world's most sophisticated social hacker. They aren't just your best friend, they are a species that has successfully hijacked the human nervous system. In exactly 90 seconds, I'm going to show you the genetic glitch, a literal mutation in your dog's DNA that explains why they are physically incapable of being independent from you. It's a revelation from Princeton University that changes the word love into something much more powerful: biological dependency. By the end of this video, you'll understand why your dog's hidden motive is the only reason they survived while wolves stayed in the wild. If you want to see the world through your dog's eyes and see why you are effectively their life support system, subscribe and join the pack. Let's look at the data. To understand the hidden motive, we have to talk about a groundbreaking study published in the journal Science by researchers at Azabu University in Japan. They were looking at something called the oxytocin gaze-positive loop. Now, oxytocin is often called the love hormone or the cuddle chemical. It's the powerful biological glue that bonds a human mother to her newborn infant. It's what makes us want to protect, feed, and care for something smaller than us. For millions of years, this was a strictly human-to-human connection. But dogs did something impossible. They figured out how to hack this maternal circuit. The study found that when a dog stares into your eyes, it's not just a blank look. They are intentionally triggering a massive release of oxytocin in your brain. But here's the reveal. As your levels spike, theirs do too. They've created a closed-loop biological feedback system. The hidden motive is that your dog has evolved to use you as a giant external source of dopamine and emotional regulation. While a wolf is self-sufficient and emotionally independent, your dog is a social specialist. They've traded their independence for a biological Wi-Fi connection to your nervous system. Even the Mayo Clinic has noted that when we pet our dogs, our heart rate variability, or HRV, starts to synchronize with theirs. They aren't just loving you in the way we think of romance or friendship. They are docking their biology into yours. They don't just want to be near you, they have a chemical requirement to be near you. To them, you aren't just a friend, you are their primary source of chemical stability. But how did a fierce predator like the wolf end up with a brain that functions like a human infant's? To answer that, we have to look at a 15,000-year-old accident in their DNA. So how did a wild apex predator like the wolf, an animal that prides itself on independence and fear of humans, transform into a creature that physically needs to dock with our nervous system? For a long time, the history books told us a story of taming. We were told that ancient humans caught wolf pups, raised them, and forced them to be loyal. But the evolution doesn't really work that way. You can't just train a predator to delete its survival instincts. The real story is much more accidental and, frankly, much more fascinating. Canine biologists at Princeton University made a startling discovery while looking at the canine genome. They found that dogs have a unique sequence of DNA on chromosome 6. In humans, when this specific part of the genetic code is altered, it causes a rare condition called Williams-Burron syndrome. Now, here is the hidden motive in plain sight. People born with this syndrome are often described as being hypersocial. They have an overwhelming, almost uncontrollable drive to trust, love, and connect with everyone they meet. They lack the social fear that keeps the rest of us cautious. This is the secret. Roughly 15,000 years ago, a small group of wolves was born with this exact genetic glitch. while the rest of the pack stayed in the dark, growling at the shadows and avoiding human campfires to stay safe. These mutant wolves couldn't help themselves. Their brains were physically wired to find social interaction more rewarding than the hunt itself. They didn't hang around our ancestors because we had better meat. They stayed because their DNA was rewritten to turn fear into fascination. They traded the freedom of the wilderness for a biological obsession with us. You aren't just looking at a tame wolf, you are looking at an evolutionary specialist in extreme friendliness. Your dog is genetically incapable of the independence that a cat or a horse has. But this leads us to a strange paradox. If they are wired to love us, does that mean their love is fake? Or does it mean it's more real than anything a human could ever feel? To answer that, we have to look at what happens inside a dog's brain when they are forced to choose between a high-quality hot dog or a kind word from your owner. So if this love is a genetic glitch, does that mean it's just a biological trick? Skeptics love to argue that dogs are just walking stomachs with fur, but researchers at Emory University decided to settle this once and for all using awake MRI scans. They gave dogs a simple choice, a high-quality piece of hot dog or a heartfelt good boy from their owner. Here is the paradox that shocks the skeptics. For the vast majority of dogs, the reward centers of their brain lit up exactly the same, and in many cases significantly more for the praise than for the food. This is the ultimate hidden motive reveal. To your dog, your approval is not just a nice-to-have bonus, it is a primary biological reward. They aren't looking for a paycheck in the form of treats, they are looking for an emotional refuel. In their world, your voice and your touch are literally more valuable than life-sustaining calories. You aren't just the person who fills the bowl, you are the sun they orbit just to stay warm. So what is the hidden motive at the end of the day? It's not a secret plan to steal your snacks or a cold calculation for survival. The truth is much more beautiful and much more permanent. Your dog loves you because 15,000 years ago, a beautiful genetic accident decided that their species didn't want to face the world alone anymore. They chose us. They traded their wild independence for a biological glitch that turned your happiness into their heartbeat.